What's up, Blue Root Nation? It's your boy Jonathan, and welcome back to John's Corner. Now, I'm well aware that this is not quite a corner; it's more of a wall. But whatever, we'll make do. No, I spent all morning setting up this set, so I hope you guys enjoy. I wanted to add a little flavor to it. Now, I'm aware when I started this channel, I told you guys that John's Corner was going to be every Tuesday and Thursday. And I very quickly proved to be a liar because it became just Tuesday. And then it's been, I don't think it's been quite a year, but it's been a while since I've done an episode. I apologize. Excuse me. And this time, I will not make promises to you guys that I cannot keep. But I'm going to attempt, operative word, to be more consistent with it. And part of that is going to be, I'm not going to be the only one hosting shows here. Ideally. Maybe some weeks that's how it'll turn out. But I'm going to get other people to come out and do stuff as well. I'm in talks with Madam President, Miss Ashley herself, Clean Jeans fame, Zelda, and then for you Uncanny fans, Lawrence and Devon are going to come out and do some shows, hopefully. Knock on plastic table. So I have all that stuff in the works. Hopefully it'll be coming out, rolling out over the next week or so. Hopefully. Don't hold me to that, all right? If I lie, I lie. But I'm attempting it. But this is John's Corner, where, you know, I talk all things news and entertainment and yada, 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 yada. So let's just dive in and start talking about some stuff. First up, I want to talk about the fact that one of my favorite shows is returning. Veronica Mars. Rob Thomas and Kristen Bell are coming back, and they're going to do another season. It's going to be on Hulu between, I think, 8 or 10 episodes. But what's even more exciting from that, because, I mean, when they've done revivals before, they, of course, you know, they did there was the original TV show, and then they did the movie, which I loved. And then they did a couple books that take place after the movie. And what I love, for all of you who followed me and listened to me yamble on different videos or podcasts or whatever, you know that I'm a big Star Wars EU fan. I love the extended universe in Star Wars. Hence, one of the greatest, most badass Star Wars characters ever, Jaina Solo. And so part of that is like, you know, I have issue with what Disney has done with Star Wars and how they just eradicated the EU, turned it into Legends and all that nonsense. Because it's like you had this wide pantheon of stories, and you just threw it all out to do, I'm sorry, but cheap knockoffs of those same stories. You can't tell me The Force Awakens is not a cheap knockoff of Legacy of the Force. Come on, it is. But whatever. I know I'll get hate for the Star Wars bashing because, you know, the new Star Wars sucks. And they don't have a character nearly as bad as Jaina or her brother or her little brother or her aunt. But, you know, whatever. Anyways, it seems that Rob Thomas and Kristen Bell have learned from Disney's mistake. And they announced what the new season's going to be about, like what the big mystery is. And I don't want to get too much into it. But it's essentially the plot from the first novel that takes place after the movie. So instead of being like, hey, you know that novel we wrote that was supposed to be canon? Fuck them, we want nothing to do with it. They're adapting it. That's awesome. I mean, obviously, it's probably going to diverge from it a little bit because, I mean, what adaptation doesn't? But the fact that they're honoring the source material and not just throwing it away, that's cool. They're learning from the mistakes that other companies have made. Namely, you know, Disney. Disney, you fucked up. You did. I mean, come on now. Oh, yeah, but they don't. We're talking about Disney and things they now own because they now own my entire childhood from Marvel to Star Wars. I don't have any Buffy stuff here, but they now own Fox and Buffy. The last issue, this is going to be part of a second segment where we talk about things that are cool to go check out, but the last issue of Buffy just came out. They ended the Buffy storyline. I don't know if it's because, well, they moved the license from Dark Horse to Boom. And how come every time Disney buys something, a property, they take the licensing away from Dark Horse? Like, do they have some beef with Dark Horse? I mean, you don't own Dark Horse, but does that mean you have to like try to actively destroy it? I'm just curious, you know? They took Star Wars away, now they're taking Buffy away, took Firefly away. Like, what do you have against Dark Horse, Disney? I'm asking you. But nah, they're going to Buffy. The Buffy license is going to boom, and it looks like they're going back to high school, and it's like But if you haven't read it, issue 4 of season 12, which is supposed to be the last issue in the series, just came out, and it's touching. It's the happy ending that most of the characters wanted, you know? So it's nice. You should definitely check that out at your local comic book store right now. But anywho, I get away from that. Well, we're talking about things coming back in remakes. Any Child's Play fans out there, you know that they were in talks of, after Cult of Chucky, which I liked, but it got mixed reviews. They're talking about doing a TV show and bringing everybody back along for the TV show. And I haven't heard that was scrapped, and I really still hope it happens because that would be so fucking awesome. But they're remaking Chucky. And this weird remake of Chucky seems to miss the entire point of Chucky. Because Chucky's gonna be a robot? Like, okay, so for those of you who don't know the original plot of Child's Play, which how the hell do you not know the original plot of Child's Play? Charles Lee Ray is he's a criminal, and he gets shot by a cop in a toy store, and he does this voodoo curse to put his soul inside of a good guy doll so that he doesn't die. He then spends all the movies trying to become human again. It's basically the plot of Child's Play in a nutshell. So this new Child's Play is this weird thing where it's going to be a robot, like a toy with an AI that goes screwy and then tries to kill everybody. I don't know about you, that sounds to me like Small Soldiers. Like, it's a kids movie. That's what the new Child's Play is going to be? You're going to get rid of the voodoo origin story of it. You're going to get rid of him being a killer. Like, it's stupid. But on less depressing news, as you know, I'm a bit of a Trekkie. I talk about Star Trek all the time. And astronomers, I don't know if it was NASA or who, but they found a planet where Star Trek has always said Vulcan is supposed to be. They legitly found a Vulcan. And from what I understand, it's supposed to be a bigger planet than Earth, so gravity there is bigger. And it's closer to the sun, so it's going to be really hot. It's Vulcan. It's legitimately Vulcan. Vulcan's a real place. If there are people who look like us, but with pointy-ass ears on the planet, then Gene Roddenberry was either a psychic or from the future. It's exciting. I'm really... I can't wait to see what comes out from this and what they learn from it. But it's cool, you know. Whenever something in fiction comes out and it's even as tentatively close to reality as there's a planet in the general vicinity of where we said there was a planet, that's cool. I mean, when I was a kid, I was big into the Double Dragon movie. When 2007 rolled around and there wasn't a giant earthquake that destroyed LA, I was like, what the hell's going on here? I love Alyssa Milano. But But no, I think that's really cool, man. And I don't know. Like I've always before I wanted to get into entertainment and make films and write stories and all that, I wanted to be an astronaut, go into space and travel, and a lot of that was predicated on the original Star Trek series. So the fact that they found Vulcan, I just think that's cool. Like the nerd in me is like, oh my god, I think it's awesome. But last bit of news. Apparently, so Disney is doing their own streaming app, right? And apparently it's going to be largely predicated on Star Wars and Marvel. And as much as I'm against Disney Wars, EU's much better. The fact that Jon Favreau is doing a TV series set in the Star Wars universe, I'm excited for. That might, probably won't, but might win me over. Depends how much freedom they give Jon Favreau. I mean, I love him. Swingers is still one of the greatest, funniest movies you'll ever see. But the exciting bit of news that came out, and it's not confirmed yet, But they're saying that characters like Loki and Scarlet Witch might get their own TV shows with Tom Hiddleston and the Olsen, Olsen girl, not Mary Kay, not Ashley, Elizabeth. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. But you know who I'm talking about. Scarlet Witch from the movies. Got the picture. All right, but check it out. So they're gonna apparently play the roles. Now this hasn't been confirmed yet, but if that's true, that's awesome, man. Like, and apparently Kevin Feige is gonna have his hands in it and control it, so it's gonna be more connected than the other Marvel shows, which I love. I don't care what anyone says, man. Even Iron Fist I think is awesome. I loved Inhumans, Defenders. All this hate that they're getting is just because people want to hate stuff. They're actually legitly good shows. Inhumans was so good and underrated. Speaking of which, Gifted comes back, I think this week or next week. What? Awesome. But yeah, I'm sorry, I got distracted by the thought of Gifted. But no, it's cool, like that they're making these shows. That app is gonna be so worth getting when it comes out. But part of what I want to do on this show is talk about things that are cool, that are new and out, and that you guys should check out if you haven't already done so. So since we're talking about the Marvel Disney app thing, DC Universe, I don't have it yet, but I've been toying around with the thought of getting it because it seems so cool. Like I've been watching the DC Daily. They've been releasing episodes on YouTube, so I've been watching that. Like the shorter version, I guess like the longer versions are on the actual app. But that alone is so like I'm not even a big DC fan. Like that's why I'm trying to get D to do a DC show where he talks about DC news and stuff like that. But even I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. And the app has the Batman animated series, which is like one of the greatest things ever made. It has all the old Superman movies, and I'm talking about the good ones with Christopher Reeve, and the bad ones with Christopher Reeve. And then it has the old Tim Burton Batmans and the Joe Schumacher Batmans. But it's cool, man. Like, it has all this old stuff. And there's some documentaries that I need to check out. Um, it just seems like such a cool place for fans. And apparently they have a bunch of comic books on there. Like, the more older I get and the more and more I experience the world, the more and more I see, like, these companies, a lot of these companies don't care about their fans. They say they do, but they don't. They care about money, which is fine. You're a business, you care about money, that's understandable. But a lot of times they seem to spite the fans, actively do things to cause problems. I take that back. I don't think they're actively trying to hurt the fans, but I think that they're so up their own ass about what they want to do and what they think is the cool thing to do that they don't ever listen to their fans. And this isn't an entertainment industry thing. This is, I guess, like an America thing, because entertainment companies aren't the only people doing this. You go to the store, and the notion of the customer's always right has long since died, and it's now, well, if you don't like it, we'll replace you with a new customer in 3.2 seconds. Get the hell out. And there's just no customer service left in anything. But then you look at DC Universe, you look at that app and the way they design it, and you can, even if you don't have an account, you can go on there and you can scroll around. You can't watch or read anything. You can see what they have on there and the way that it's set up and designed. And that is something that is like, we love our fans. You can see the love and joy that they have in that app for the community that they have. And I think that's beautiful, Like, I think more companies should go that route. Because if we're being honest, we're taking everything aside and just being up front. The way that the world is going, thanks to like the internet and stuff, is not bigger. Like, I know movies are making more money than ever before, but part of that is ticket prices are way too high. But it's also because the movies that are making all these money are things that when I was growing up, they were niche audiences. They weren't big audiences. They were catered to a smaller groups of people who weren't mainstream. And now it's mainstream, and it's bringing everybody out. And that should be a example of where things are going. Things are getting smaller. They're getting more diverse. When more and more streaming services are popping up to rival cable, it tells you that things are becoming more niche. So the way you do it isn't by going bigger and broader. It's by narrowing in on your audience and focusing on them. What do they like to see? What are their tastes? Now, don't placate to the audience because that's a trap you will never succeed in. But know what you do, know what your audience is for that, and then double down on that. You know, don't chase the mass audience because that's going away. Chase the diehard fans. If you look at what Disney did when they bought Star Wars, they chased away the diehard fans and went for that mass audience, and it worked with the Force Awakens. But now look, they just announced that we're slowing down on the production of Star Wars movies. We're taking a step back, and that was our fault. We overreached and all that. And it's like, no, you didn't overreach. Well, you did overreach, but you went the wrong way. You literally put out articles before Force Awakens coming out attacking Star Wars fans. And then you're confused as to why you're getting less and less returns on your investments. Whereas Marvel, another company you own, is getting more and more on its investments. Each movie is going up and up and up. And it's because Marvel is doubling down on what makes Marvel Marvel, whereas Star Wars is going away from what makes Star Wars Star Wars. I'm sorry. Like or dislike The Last Jedi, that movie, what Ryan Johnson did in that movie was he dissected Star Wars and then said, "Oh, I don't care about legacy. I don't care about all these things that he didn't like about Star Wars." And it's like, if you want to make a movie about like the past doesn't matter and legacy doesn't matter and destiny and all that is pointless, fine. But that's not Star Wars. Star Wars, that's what Star Wars is. Star Wars is legacy. It's destiny. It's something greater than yourself. You can't make a movie dissecting that and call it Star Wars, because that's what Star Wars is. You have to be true to what it is you're doing, and that movie wasn't. It just, I don't know. I feel like the more we go into this new era that we're in, the more you're gonna have to sacrifice the larger audience and double down on your diehard fans, because that's, not to sound crass, but that's where the money is. Those are the people who will support you, who love the thing so much that they will support you. I'm a big fan of Tesdy, as you can see from the vinyl albums and the Press and Kissing Skull. And that was another thing I want to talk about in like things you'll love, things that are out there that you'll love, is the Tesdy Patreon account. Like, that's so fun, and like they do all these polls and it's real interactive with the community. Which, I mean, the ants have already been a really interactive community. So this is just doubling down on something that's already been working on them. But that's awesome. That's an example of where we should be going. And like, I obviously from Tesdy fan, big View Askew fan, big Smallcast fan, I kind of think that's where Kev should have gone instead of Stitcher. Like, you should have put your podcast in that, because I would have paid. I'm not paying for Stitcher, but I'd pay for that. Like a Smodcast Patreon account, I'd pay for that. Hell, the two Patreons I'm signed up for are Ralph Garman and Tesdy. Although Phil DeFranco, I need to sign up for that one. And if the movie Crip guys, Adam Green and Joe Lynch, ever stopped, like, making fans feel guilty for not signing up for the Patreon account, I would sign up for the Patreon account. That's literally the only reason I don't. Because I don't think that you should guilt your audience in doing something. I like how Tesdy does it. Like, hey, we got this Patreon account. If you sign up for it, cool, we love you. If not, that's cool. We still love you. And it's like, that's how you do it. You make them feel like they're a community and not like they owe you something. I love Movie Crypt. I love Adam Green, but that's my one complaint. That when I went to go see Victor Crowley live, he said Netflix was essentially piracy, and then immediately started advertising. What's that horror Netflix thing? But I don't know. That's just my weird hang up. Like, I don't feel like you should make your fans feel like they owe you something, because they're following you because they love you, because they support you. You should let them support you. But that's just my thing. I also think that if you're gonna get on a kick about piracy, then your co-host shouldn't talk about how his favorite part of conventions is the bootleg table, and also talk about on the podcast how you let your friends burn copies of your DVD because that's actually piracy. But whatever. The last thing I want to talk about, ironically enough, in cool news, like things that I think you guys should check out, is an Adam Green project. Because I love Adam Green. I have issue with the way he talks to his fans sometimes. But at the same time, like if you're talking about Facebook picture, it's actually a picture of me and Adam Green. He's the nicest guy in the world, and he doesn't charge for autographs. Like to me, that's awesome. Not a lot of people do that anymore. He'll come out and talk to you and greet you. That's so rare. Like you could tell that he is a guy who does love his fans. I think the industry has just kind of made him bitter and resentful a little bit. But he seems like a great guy, and like I loved meeting him. It was one of the highlights of my life. One of meeting Stan Lee is still the top one. But anyways, on Areoscope.com on the website, they just came out with celebrating 20 years of Halloween, a documentary about the horror shorts that he does every year. And if you haven't seen those are amazing, man. Some of them are corny, but it's fun corny. You know, like it's corny for the sake of being corny. It's my type of humor, so I just love it. Adam Green really, like, legitimately, he is one of my favorite directors out there. One of my favorite writer-directors. Like, if you haven't seen Frozen, that is such a weird, fucked up movie, man. You really need to check it out. I feel bad I went on this whole rampage about Adam Green. I do love Adam Green. That's the one part of the podcast that annoys me. And I have a pet peeve about hypocrisy. But he's a funny dude, great director. Great talker. Podcast, Movie Crypt. You guys got to check it out. I love it. And sign up for the Patreon if you can. I'm advertising all these other people's Patreons. But, I'm glad to be back. I hope you guys enjoy this show. I'm going to try to, like I said, I'm going to try to be more regular. Probably going to end up having 2 different sets. And the reason for that is because it's hard to get everybody out to the same set. So I don't know how the second set's going to look yet, but I love you guys, and give us legends.